welcome to Culinary Kits for Kids, and today's recipe is the apple carrot muffin. So it has just what it sounds like, right? We're gonna be using an apple, we're gonna be using a carrot. For the muffin recipe, we're gonna be also using some flour, so that's gonna be in your kit, some old-fashioned oatmeal, we have some walnut pieces, an egg, some honey for that sweetener, a little bit of chocolate chips, some baking powder, some salt, some cinnamon, and also some butter. So what you're gonna wanna do first is you're gonna wanna preheat your oven at 350 degrees. So once you preheat it, you're gonna get a muffin tin or a cupcake tin, whatever you wanna call it. And you're gonna get some cooking spray, or you can use butter too and just butter the inside so that our muffin doesn't stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a good spray. And notice I'm only spraying half of the tin because our recipe is only gonna make 6 muffins. So you don't have to spray the whole thing. You could if you want. It's totally up to you. All right, so once we sprayed that, my oven is preheating. I'm gonna go ahead and work on our carrot and our apple. So what you're gonna wanna do first is you're gonna want to, if your carrot looks like this, you're gonna wanna peel it. So get a peeler and have your parents supervise you because this is sharp. But what I like to do is I like to put the carrot diagonal on my cutting board. So I have kind of a firm surface, and I hold the carrot like I'm shaking someone's hand, just like the peeler. And I'm just gonna peel that top part of skin off. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it will give us that pretty inside of the carrot. Just like that. Okay. Throw these in the trash. And I have this kind of grater, guys. If you have a box grater, you can use that. Ask your parents for help because the graters are sharp too, okay? So if you have one like this, you would just hold it and just put that tip of the carrot and start grating. And we're gonna get little pieces of carrot. If you have a grater like this or like this, these will both work as well. And you can just start grating. So of course, the bigger holes, the bigger pieces of carrots you're gonna get. So if you want your carrots to kind of be hidden in there, you're gonna wanna use the smaller grate, okay? That's what I'm gonna be using today. I'm gonna use the small grate right here. And I'm going to just grate my carrot. And I'm gonna try to get the whole thing. We really wanna get that whole carrot grated. Once you get to the tip of the carrot, it's gonna be a little hard to grate it. That's when you can either compost it, you could chop it up, eat it as a snack, dip it in some ranch. So right now, just using your muscles and grating that carrot, okay? All right guys, so I have this much of my carrot left. So from here, I'm just going to grate it until I don't feel comfortable grating it anymore because I do not want to get my fingers caught in there. So I think this is a good stopping point. So from here, you can set it to the side and snack on it while your muffins cook. We don't want to be throwing anything away. So I got all my carrots grated right here. I'm going to work on our apple next. So with your knife, you're going to just want to cut your apple into pieces. And again, I'm using that seesaw motion. So back and forth with my knife. I have a claw grip on my apple and I'm holding it firmly onto the cutting board. That way it doesn't go anywhere, okay? From here, I'm gonna put the flat side down using a seesaw motion again, just cutting that apple. And it might take some muscle. If you need to put your body weight over it and kind of push down on that knife, you can. Just be very careful, okay? And you're always gonna wanna put that flat side, see, on the cutting board. So I got my apples all cut up. I'm gonna grate them on the same side. So the apples might be a little more difficult, but we're just gonna grate. And we're gonna grate until we feel uncomfortable, right? Until our fingers get really close. And then we can discard that piece or eat that little piece as a little snack. All right, kids, so that's how our carrot looks in our apple. It kind of turned into applesauce, but that's okay. That's what we need for our muffin. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and get my butter, and we're gonna put it in the microwave for 20 seconds until it melts. And then once it melts, we'll start with the next step. Our butter is melted, guys, so just set it to the side. We're gonna work with the dry ingredients first, so you're gonna wanna get a bigger bowl. I have my bigger bowl right here. And what we're gonna wanna do first is we're gonna mix our flour with our oats, our baking powder, and salt, and cinnamon. We're gonna mix those first just to get them nice and incorporated. So I'm just using a little spatula and just kind of mixing everything together. Because you want that baking powder to get all in the flour, you want the cinnamon and the salt to be distributed, because what if you get a muffin and you didn't mix it good enough and then it's full of salt? It's happened to me. So just mix it very well, okay? Just like that. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and mix the butter in a separate bowl. Just let it all come out. With honey. This is the honey. And you guys are gonna get honey packets. So just open those packets up and put them in the butter. I'm trying to get all the honey out because that's all the good stuff. And then we're gonna go ahead and crack our egg in there. As carefully as you can. And I'm just going to mix the egg and the butter and the honey together until they incorporate and they kind of make a little mixture like this. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now we're, oh, okay. The carrot fell in the trash, that's okay. So now we're gonna work on our mixture. So we got this here. We're going to add in whisk in the grated apple and the carrots. And then we're gonna pour everything into the dry ingredients. So I got my carrot here. I'm gonna throw it into the bowl that we have the honey, the egg, and the butter in. So there goes my apple and my carrot. We're gonna mix this right here. It's gonna look something like this. I'm sure you guys can see the mixture. So that's the apple, the butter, the egg, the carrot, and the honey. So we got that mixed up. Gonna go ahead and put the wet into the dry. And we're gonna mix this up until we get a dough consistency. Oh, you might make a little mess. Like me, I always make a mess, but I always clean up after myself. That's the thing, okay? Sometimes. Making that dough here for our muffins. And y'all could see it's already starting to take a dough form. You're just gonna wanna be sure that you really mix it up because that flour on the bottom tends to stay at the bottom. So just kind of scrape the sides and the bottom with your spatula, and you'll get all that extra flour from the bottom and the sides into your mixture. And what I like to do is I like to kind of spread it out like this. That way if there are any clumps in the flour, those clumps tend to disappear when you spread it in there. All right. So the last step is going to be our chocolate chips and our walnuts. We're gonna fold those into our mixture. So what I say by fold, I just mean fold. So use your spatula and kind of flip it over. Spatula and kind of flip it over again. And continue to flip until those nuts and the chocolate chips are mixed into the whole dough. So it should look like this. Perfect. Grab your baking sheet And you can use a spoon. I'm gonna use my spatula because I already made a lot of mess with my dishes. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in my muffin tin with our mixture. Okay. And this is great, guys, for breakfast. You can have them warm, you can have them cold, stick them in your backpack for a snack at school. They're great. You're gonna really enjoy them. So the batter says it makes 6, but it might make a little more. I'm just topping my other muffins with some of the rest of the dough. And there we go. We're gonna bake them for 25 minutes in our 350-degree oven. And when we come back, they'll be done. Our muffins are done, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and take one out. That way we can see the finished product. And as you can see, they come out fairly easily because we did grease our muffin tin. So they're popping right out. They're beautiful. So the reason they look a little funny is because of the whole oats we used. We also have those grated apples in there and carrots. So there is going to be some texture in here, but that's okay. We're gonna cut into one so y'all could see the middle. So this is how they look without their muffin tin. I'm gonna cut into one. I'll cut into this one. This one's pretty. So as y'all could see, if you look in the middle, we can see carrots, we could see walnuts. Get the knife. We can see the apples, some of the chocolate chips. Of course, it is very hot right now, that's why it's steaming. But you can always have this with a glass of milk. You can have some yogurt on the side with it. It's a great snack. It's a great breakfast to take with you to school. So I hope you all enjoy this recipe. Let us know if you like it.